Welcome to tonight's titanic struggle between the Princeton Vikings and the Lakota West Firebirds here from Firebird Stadium. We're going to jump right into the kick. Princeton kicking off deep. We're a little bit challenged here. I'm Brent Phelan along with Andrew Phelan.
Hello, everyone.
For those of you who've been at Firebird Stadium, you know this time of year we are looking right into the sun. Ball advanced out, 1st and 10 for the Firebirds. See it's spotted around the 28-yard line.
Be interesting to see. West needs to get Cam Good going and also Mitchell Bolden on the ground to be successful tonight.
So, just had a fan trying to find somebody come into our booth by mistake. So here we go, back. First play, going to look deep. Got an open receiver. Connected. So there's number 7, Mitch Bolden. Mitch Bolden does lead the Firebird offense. Here's a replay of that. We're going to see it again. You're going to see a little play action and drops back and throws the ball deep downfield.
Andre Parker's defenses are known for playing man and blitzing. It looked like they were in man there. The corner was just staring in the backfield. Allowed our receiver to just run right past them.
That's number 13, Ben Minnick, with the nice gain on the first play from scrimmage. Here we'll go 1st and 10 for the Firebirds from the 24-yard line. Bolden in shotgun. Going to bring it around the outside. A little bit of misdirection there. Looked like, was that number 2, Alex Afari?
Yep.
Coming from a wide out. You'll see Alex on both sides of the ball.
Afari had a touchdown last week. It looks on a similar play. It looks like they're trying to get him going early as well.
Here we're going to see it again. You're going to see number 2, Afari, coming around.
Could not ask for a better start out of the Firebirds. 2 plays and you're already in the red zone.
So that's going to be 2nd and 1 for the Firebirds. Looks like we're having a little bit of trouble getting a play in for the Firebirds, but the play clock's still at 18. So what do you do now? We've had a deep pass. We've had a end around type play, and here we go, Bolden in the shotgun. The same play, other direction for the uninitiated here. Nice nice hurdle move there. It didn't get much, but it looks like you got enough for the first down.
So as you see, Princeton, again, very aggressive, which is what Andre Parker's been known for in his past years at Winton Woods. I'd love to see us go to some jet sweep motion and get Cam Good involved inside.
So we'll see here what the Firebirds do. It'll be 1st and 10, 12-yard line. Looking, Princeton, obviously a little bit confused here. As you said, they like to play aggressively. They went deep, and they've come out of the not out of the backfield, run the ball twice on a move. A lot of motion there before the snap. Snap ends up at the feet of the quarterback, Mitchell Bolden, and he's been tackled for a loss. Actually, this is going to be really interesting. It should have been a loss for Lakota West of 5 or 6 yards, but they didn't let go. Princeton continued to drag him down after the whistles. You're going to see this, so it's actually going to be a great play for Lakota. So there you go. You see Bolden held up. At this point, you can't hear it, but the whistles are blowing. They have him. They're still. And then when this final pull over the top, you'll see the official there throws the flag, which instead of being a 2nd and long for Lakota West, we're now staring at a first down and about 6 yards.
So West very fortunate there to end up positive. That's something that you do not want to see anymore, though, if you're the Lakota West coaching staff, is those negative plays.
So here we go. Bolden still in the shotgun, which that's pretty much what you're going to see. They hand the ball finally up the middle. First time a little bit more of a traditional run on 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him maybe the 6-yard line. So didn't get a whole lot there, but first time they've really run more of a traditional play right up the middle.
Yep, if you're thinking ahead here as an OC, maybe a run to the left, okay, get you left center to left hash, and then on 3rd down you might have a chance for a runner pass with Mitchell sprinting out to the right.
So here we go. Bolden still in that shotgun. You can see that was, I believe that was a true read, right? He faked the handoff and then decided to pull it and ran right up the middle. Not much there, so we're going to be looking at a 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, so this is what we call bash. This is something that Coach Beauchamp, who is the Lakota West offensive coordinator, did a lot at Walnut Hills. It's very in vogue right now. Essentially what it is inside zone, but the quarterback is now the inside run player, and the running back is that outside runner where the quarterback would usually replace the defensive end.
Excellent. So here we go. Big play for Lakota. It's third down, and I guess it's third down about 3 from the 5-yard line. Well, we see a lot of movement early, definitely, and it looks like hands to hips, which would indicate offsides from Princeton. That's at least the early indication from this side. We'll see if the far side agrees.
I saw movement out there by Brown on the perimeter as well.
So we'll see what they call here. Looks like now the Princeton folk believe it is going to be on Lakota West. A lot of discussion here. Gets challenging, of course, as we know. Assuming that somebody's in a set position on the offense, if they even move, it's a penalty, and that's what we're going to have.
Again, these are those negative plays that you do not want, especially against what right now in Princeton.
So we're going to try to look at this, and it was out of our screen. It was something to the left side.
I think it was Brown on the perimeter. But you're playing against Princeton's offense, who right now is number 1 in the league statistically. So you really, when you get in the red zone, want to score 7.
So it will be 3rd and 8 from the 10-yard line. See what Lakota can dial up here. They've, as you mentioned, they've had some success in a couple of different ways. Moving strong to the right side, even though there's a little more room to the left. Wow, there was really no time there for Mitch Bolden. Nice penetration from the Princeton defensive line.
Yep, and again, there's that aggression. Lakota West offensive line is talented with Shabola and McComas at both tackles.
And you're going to notice number 15 came from the right side, was unblocked. They just had an extra man out to the right side. I'm guessing there was probably a hot read there that if he came unblocked, that your quarterback needed to throw that direction. Looked like at the time he came, Bolden was looking left. The guy came from the right. By the time he had a chance to do it, there was nothing to do. So here we go with a field goal attempt. Looking like we're going to be right around 36 or 37 yards. Snap, hold, kick. Good, nice kick.
Love to see points put up, but at the same time, 6 is better than 3.
So here we are still in the first quarter, 7:27 to go. Lakota West takes that early 3-0 lead. So, Andrew, what should we expect? We jumped right into the game here, right at kickoff. A big play really made the difference there for Lakota West. What would you expect to see?
So, really, when Princeton is on the field on offense against Lakota West defense, something has got to give. Princeton has put up over 700 yards in their opener against Anderson, and they have not scored less than 44 points in a game this season. So Lakota West defense, very talented, very athletic, is statistically the best defense in the GMC. So something's got to give. Someone's going to win that matchup against TJ Engelman, who is about 5'8", 160 at quarterback, actually was the backup going into the Anderson game for Princeton, who's very electric and creates big plays.
And he is everything for them this year. Looking at it from the quarterback position, he's thrown for 600 yards and run for 470. So already over 1,000 yards 3 games into the season as a sophomore.
Right, very impressive. And I know I've talked a lot about Coach Parker for Princeton. He's a great coach. They really rely on rushing the football.
So nice kickoff from Lakota West. And in high school, regardless if you catch it or not, if the ball crosses the goal line, it's automatically a touchback. So Princeton will start 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
It will also be interesting to see if Lakota West defense can kind of wear on Engelman, all right, who is not the biggest kid. And Lakota West defense is very stout with Aiden Miller at middle linebacker. Everyone knows Alex Safari is very, very talented. He's been playing in the box a lot this year as well.
We noticed against West Claremont, he was coming from the end and really created a lot of confusion for them in the backfield. So here we go. It is interesting to notice that, and obviously the statistics have been impressive, but Princeton has 4 guys who have caught more than 100 yards in the first 3 games. Nice run right up the middle. And 3 guys who've run for over 100 yards in the first 3 games. We're going to see that again. That was 10 or 11, 12 yards right off the go, right up the middle. So
we just have inside zone there. It was just a big hole by Princeton's offensive line created against Lakota West 3-man 3-3 stack look.
So you can see out here on the right side that might be setting something in the future. Looks like we got a hold on the number 77 there on the end. But what was interesting, if you notice, the receiver on the left side took a step down and then he stepped back. So obviously setting something up for later from that perspective. You see the official spot the flag, which is a great indication it's holding. because the penalty, since it was upfield, will be from that spot. So now we'll see there. There we go. You'll see they'll move both of them to that same spot.
There you go.
Looks like it's going to be about 1st and 19. It was about a yard upfield. And if you notice what it was, 77 for Princeton was trying to seal the corner. And as the quarterback rolled a little bit left from that, he apparently had to grab a little too much. That's Philip Daniels, a 6'5", 255-pound junior.
Princeton's in an empty set here.
So empty meaning the quarterback's the only guy in the backfield, and 5 receivers spread out across the field. So look how, how horizontal it makes the Lakota West defense. Meaning if you can get past them, there's not a whole lot of layers. Nice play design, good pass and catch. If you noted what they did is they ran the outside receiver or the inside receivers deep, and brought the one guy from the outside back across underneath.
And pre-snap here, what the coaching staff for Princeton did was what we would call freeze. Basically, you simulate the snap, but then the coaches are looking at Lakota West defense to get the best look.
That was number 7, Rodney Harris. Here we go. It looks like they faked it up to middle quarterback. A little bit of quick to him.
Yeah,
that perspective.
Definitely did not have the pull there, but he pulled it anyway and used the speed to get outside.
And that's going to be a first down. If you remember, it was 1st and 19, so that pass play, gained him back to where they're second and fairly short. And even though there wasn't much on that play, he did advance it out to the 44-yard line, which will be a first down for Princeton. So a couple big plays for Princeton as well.
Yeah, that's huge. And we'll see on the outside for Princeton, they are talented as well. And they take a lot of big shots. 50-50 balls, we'd like to call them.
So explain, what does that mean? Oh, nice cutback to the outside.
A lot of times it'll be just a route that you would see in like one-on-ones, more like a go route or a post where they're just trying to let their guy win, which is very interesting given that Lakota West has two college signees at cornerback.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? That's normally what you do when you have great athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly Princeton has great athletes out there, but I'm not sure that there are any better athletes than the defenders for Lakota West on the outside. So here we go again, short gain there of 6, so it's going to be 2nd and 4 from just over midfield, snap over his head. So not necessarily a great defensive play from Lakota West, but it sure worked out that way.
Yep.
Snap, it looked like it was just high. It looked catchable, but was able to slip through the quarterback's hands and landed about a 4-yard loss on that play. So we're going to be sitting here 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
From back to the 42-yard line. I guess that was actually about an 8-yard loss on that snap.
When Princeton went empty last time, West only rushed 3. Let's see if they bring a little heat here on 3rd down.
So they do have a back, and they used to call this the pistol when you still have a tailback behind a shotgun quarterback. Looks like he's just pass protection. Some good pressure from Lakota West. And see if they can pull him down. Boy, he is a little bit elusive. Gets back to midfield, so it's going to be 4th and legitimate. You're going to see this here. He quarterback back to pass. A little bit of a hold on the outside there. Ran through some arm tackle. And in fairness to the defender, the guy's moving. So when he thought he was going to put a shoulder on him, and he was elusive enough to make it into an arm. So it looks like Princeton's going to take it here. And with that kind of offense they put up this year, I guess not a real shock.
Yep, he is quick and slippery. They've got trips into the boundary here.
So they need to get to the Lakota West 46-yard line. They need a full 4 yards here.
He's setting up deep. It looks like they're going to quick kick it.
So if you notice that, they just dropped the quarterback deeper. He tried to, and really, why do you do that, Andrew?
To not get West into a punt return formation. Maybe another reason might be Princeton might not have a very legitimate punter on their roster as well.
Now it looks like sometimes maybe you get too cute. They tried to do that, and I don't know if that's the regular punter or not, but obviously it wasn't a great punt. We're going to see where they actually spot it, but
yeah, it looked like Engelman, the quarterback, was back there. You're just not sure how much he practiced that in pregame warm-ups, given that he is the starting Q.
But that's a 17-yard net on the punt, so
it's tough.
Not great when you're punting from midfield. You have a chance to try to make Lakota West go a full field again, and now you've given them decent field position. So what do we expect from Lakota West? It was kind of an awkward series on offense for them, though it did result in 3 points.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep trying to hit the outside with these jet sweeps, and then work the middle run again when Bolden reads it correctly.
So there you go. Nice cut back into the middle. Nice little spin. Ooh, ball came a little bit loose, it looked like.
Yep.
So a nice run out to the 40-yard line, a gain of almost 7. And what you said, right? So they're bringing the guy from the outside.
Yeah.
Now,
So this is just an outside zone, they call it. They're trying to get the edge. Number 8 for Princeton did a great job sealing the edge, but then Brown just is being an athlete, getting upfield.
And so what happened there, obviously, is just because they're running the wide jet sweep doesn't mean the play has to go out to the boundary, right? In this case, he did a nice job of cutting it up. And you're right, number 8 there for Princeton was able to get upfield 3 yards and really establish that in order to get to the outside, you would have had to go back 3 or 4 yards into the backfield, which is never a great way to start an offensive play. Here we go, more of a true read option. So that was an interesting play there. I mean, it actually is going to work out pretty successful here near the first down. I believe he's going to get it, but it's more a traditional option, although from the shotgun.
Pitch was a little off, but I tell you what, look at the Princeton defenders. There's about 9 guys getting to the ball for Princeton.
So from that, looked to me like the relationship between the pitch man and the quarterback was a little bit off. And then when quarterback pitched it, right, he got it to his back hand. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing says, hey, try to just grab it and go. The other says, let's not turn it over in your own territory, right? So then the net effect is he still advanced it for a 1st and 10 for Lakota West from the 45-yard line. Here we go, right up the middle. Some good blocking, good power.
And that's more of what we're used to seeing from Good in that offensive line there.
So all the way down into Princeton territory. That's going to be a 1st and 10 for Lakota from the Princeton 41-yard line here. So what do we see there? Just an inside zone? I mean,
looked like inside zone, and the interior offensive line definitely got up to the 2nd level there.
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage is Lakota. Now there you go. Perfect setup, right? Ran it, faked the same play, and Mitch Bolden did a great job of keeping it, right? And the key to that play is everybody, including the running back, thinks they might get the ball. So you have to honor the running back, especially after he just gashed you. And then Mitch Bolden, as a quarterback, a heck of an athlete, right? When he took it, he saw the opening to the outside there and was able to outrun some very talented Princeton defenders all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, we just talked about the aggression and kind of hustle of the Princeton defense. Well, there is kind of the flip side of that. When everyone's hustling and running right at the dive, which West just gashed them on for 10 yards, you got a kid as talented as Bolden. He pulls it and takes it to the house.
The other thing that a lot of people wonder, and of course the dive, the kick was a little bit shaky, but it counts just the same. So with 2:19 to go in the first quarter, Lakota West 10 and Princeton 0. You talk a lot of times where people run the ball up the middle, and you're like, why do they keep doing that? They're not getting many yards. That's why, right? That you got to keep them doing so the defense has to honor it and then allow your elusive athlete to get on the corner.
Yep, for the big explosive play. And then I'm sure West has a pass off of that as well, and they have another counter or a screen off of all the jet sweeps that they've been doing. That pull that we saw from Bolden there on the inside zone, they can do that off of a Fari's outside zone, which he's been running from wide receiver spot, and also Jair Brown.
So what happens at this level when, obviously Afari, Brown, they're both playing defense. We'll see some other guys out here that are playing both ways. Not completely common at this level. What's your take on that?
I think it's great. The big thing is for those guys to be able to get reps during the week, and that's why I think you see them running a lot of jet sweeps or go routes and posts, screens, that kind of thing, where it's just more natural for them. They could line up in the backfield, but you got to practice that.
But it's not, the timing isn't as critical.
Yep.
In some of these plays. There we go. Kick is still deep down to about the 3-yard line. Going to bring it right up the middle. Good hole.
Got some extra here.
Yeah, it looks like Lakota West did a good job. There was a nice hole up the middle. Princeton hit it pretty quick, and then they filled it at the 25-yard line. So Princeton will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. So now you're Princeton. You got to feel on that last series that their offensive series, right? You have to feel that it was more about you than Lakota West defense.
Yeah,
you kind of shot yourself in the foot a couple times.
Moving the ball, and then you got the holding penalty.
And then the snap over the quarterback's head.
Yep. I think their best bet would be to go empty and let Engelman kind of freestyle a little bit. Because Lakota's defense is very talented, especially the front 7, actually just everywhere.
So Engelman at quarterback, and again, as we said, the pistol formation, hands it right up the middle, and a nice hole and a nice run for almost 7 yards.
Yeah, and this is really going to be the key. They're already in 2nd and 3 or 4. All right, have a positive or no gain here. It's not a true, passing down on 3rd down at that point, which is not Engelman's strength.
So it looked like Imoni Steele was the runner right up the middle there. Here, I think it's him again, number 9, and it looks like a first down. Lakota West was able to shut that one down a little more quickly, but still was able to get the additional 3 or 4 yards. So it's 1st and 10 Princeton out at the 35-yard line. So 2 runs straight up the middle there.
Yeah, they're feeling good now. And again, now look for Lakota West's defensive front to have their eyes on that inside run. I bet Engelman's ready to have a pull here at some point at quarterback.
And if you look coming into this game, number 9 Steele and number 1 Borden were within 2 yards of each other as the leading running back rushers. Engelman's still the leader, and then there he goes.
Yep, there goes a counter.
You know, and it's interesting, right? I mean, he's just a running back in this formation. I mean, that, you know, right? And what's the advantage of having a running quarterback?
It's just the unknown, the pull. It forces the defense to be that much more disciplined, especially like on the backside with some of these runs that he's going to have.
So steps back to pass and then quickly tucks it and runs forward again for the first down.
Looks like the running back went the wrong way there, and he still picks up yards. I mean, he's a very talented kid.
You know, and again, we mentioned earlier he's only a sophomore, but he's putting up some, you know, we used to call them Nintendo numbers. I don't know what they are now, PS5 or something.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, he's got, I think, 400 yards rushing and over 600 yards passing already in 3 games.
So Lakota West looks, looks like they're trying to spread out their offense or their defense here a little bit more, right? More of a 3-3-5 look.
Yeah, and they're generally always going to bring a 4th still, but he's coming from depth.
Got you right at the middle. There it was, right at the middle. Was I think we're going to get a hold behind the play there. But here he goes. I mean, we talked about Bolden with a nice run down the right side for Lakota West. There's the quarterback for Princeton.
He's really got some speed, and a lot of times it's just off schedule, right? When things break down, he's making it happen.
So we're going to see this. You know, rush from right there, somewhere in the middle of the line. I didn't see it. Now there was a.
We had a
hold up. But yeah, the flat. It's probably right there on the right guard, 74.
And you have another one coming up too. So they got 2 of them.
So that's going to move them back. So again, boy, if you're Princeton, you have to be frustrated, right? That's the 3rd negative play, and in this case, it's a big negative play, right? You take away a 30-yard run, make a 10-yard penalty. I mean, that's a pretty big play.
Yeah, it's huge, and they're really going to have some pressure on themselves if they get this within, manageable on 4th down as far as the yardage goes to go for it because West is rolling. Now
on that play, Lakota West from the linebacker position shot a gap perfectly and just couldn't break down and bring down the receiver or the quarterback, and not blaming him. The guy's trying to avoid getting brought down.
Here's empty again.
So last time they ran everybody deep and brought one underneath. Good pressure again from Lakota West, but now is that by design that all the receivers went deep so that there's so much open space in there?
Honestly, I think they have that built in.
We're going to see it here. We got good pressure right off the bat from Lakota West, but didn't break down in time. But you're going to see the defensive backs aren't here. Now, of course, there was a hold again.
And I think that might have been just a called draw because 74 got right on the Aiden Miller, so he went downfield right away.
Now, how frustrating are you as you've been an offensive coordinator? How frustrating is this? You just ran 2 nice plays, both double-digit yard plays, and in both cases you're going backwards.
There's just not a lot to call on 1st and 21. Again, Princeton has been lining up an empty, saying set hut, and then the coaching staff is literally looking at West defense to figure out what's the best call. So I think that's what we're going to see here on this play when they come out.
So at the end of the first quarter, it's Lakota West 10 and Princeton 0. So here we are back at Lakota West, Firebird Stadium, where Lakota West leads Princeton 10-0 after one quarter. That was the first play of the second quarter. Came pretty quick on us there, and handoff up the middle for next to nothing.
Yeah.
Again, to talk about, it was first and way long after the 2 holding penalties.
That was Kofi Bobby, number 96, on the tackle for loss for West.
So here we are. It'll now be 2nd and 25 back at their own 30-yard line. Still seeing Engelman back there. Got one receiver or one running back next to him. Motions it back, so now they become strong to the left side. Good pressure again, and this time he will not get away. He's done an excellent job of breaking the arm tackles, but this time was not to happen.
Yeah, that was 99 Brian Henderson. He's actually a commit to the University of Buffalo in the MAC as a defensive
So we're going to see this. Here he is in the inside, comes all the way around the outside of 77, and look at that, hold on to a jersey until they could get him held up. So even there, couldn't get an arm, a leg, or a wrap up around the waist, but held on for dear life and was very effective. So a loss of 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 26 back inside the 30-yard line.
Now they're in empty, but Princeton has quads to the field, so 4 wide receivers.
So here we go. Only 3 guys rushing for Lakota West. They did get a little pressure. Now that intercepted by Lakota West. And if we saw what happened, they did bring a receiver back underneath a lot of the pressure out there. And number 21, that's Josh Fusel, is going to catch I think it's tipped off the receiver's hands. We'll see this real quick. You're going to see Engelman roll left, throws the ball, and what just tipped by his receiver, and there is Fusel taking advantage of that. So big play for Lakota West. Now that's another thing, right? Right-handed quarterback, roll left. Pretty common that you throw high.
Yeah, it's tough. And really what made all that happen is Princeton's undisciplined, right? The penalties, putting them into an obvious passing down with West's talented secondary is just not a good mix for Princeton offense.
And, they had 8 guys back in coverage with only 3 rushing. And even the 3 rushing, though, were able to get the quarterback out on the corner, which sometimes today hasn't been a great thing. But as a defensive coordinator, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
You want to get the quarterback mobile in some manner. I mean, I know he's very effective at that, but you certainly like the advantage there. Looks like we got an equipment thing, and I think what we have is the official has signaled that the quarterback for Lakota West knee pads are not over his knees.
Look at them to go Wildcat here with Afari. They showed this last week at Oak Hills. I think he is really the backup option if something like this happens.
So what was happening there, and basically what happens a lot, your knee pads have to cover your knees, but athletes, right, guys who run like to have a little bit freedom at the knee level, and some officials will look at that a little bit closely, and those pants ride up past the knee, and the challenge is obviously when you're dealing with equipment, you have to go off the field for at least a play.
Yep.
You can't just fix it out there.
Player safety. Look for outside run here to the field.
There you go, and he cuts it up the middle. So what do you mean by field, Andrew?
To the wide side of the field. If we're on a hash, right? So here right now, the wide side of the field would be to the left.
And what do they call the shorter side?
The boundary. And what West has been doing is been putting their formation in the boundary. It looks like they're going to do it again, and it's really testing, all right, how is Princeton going to line up here and see if they can get the edge to the field.
So when you say they're putting their formation there, that's the strong side?
Yep.
That's where they have extra players?
Yep.
So here we go again. You'll see Bolden is back in there, hands the ball up the middle. Not much there, but good leg drive from the running back. And he's able to push that forward for a few yards there. Looks like we're going to be about 3rd and 5.
Yeah.
So you're going to see it here, right up the middle. Now, they had helmets on helmets, but there was no hole there. So he had to make a quick jump in the backfield. And, we used to talk about what's the best way to tackle a running back? Make him make his first move in the backfield.
Yep, he bounced it, and then Princeton is very athletic, so they're going to be able to run sideline to sideline.
And once you get a running back with his, sideways, when he's, that's the old story of running north-south, which works here at Lakota West Field. But when you get them going east-west, it's a heck of a lot harder for them to shift directions.
All right, really a lot of options here for Coach Beauchamp in the West offense.
So 3rd and 3 from the 30-yard line. Bolden is going to go back and pass. Nice play all around, right? Good throw, good catch, nice defense, gain of 5 and a first down.
I think that's Trent Lloyd. I believe he was injured on the opening kickoff of St. X, so it's good to see him back.
Good to see Trent, number 4 there. Nice little just a quick out pattern, I guess, right? I mean, we used to call it a square out, but I think that's old school.
Yeah, outside receiver cleared the corner, and then you've got your slot just running that quick out.
So basically, the guy guarding him is probably maybe a half a head to the inside. So when he makes that quick outside, if you can get a ball to him fairly quickly, it's almost impossible for anybody to be there.
Yep.
Here we go, right up the middle. You'll notice that, as you talked earlier, nice little cutback in the middle, so he's going to get 8 or 9 yards on the play. Looks like 7. But you'll also see after the handoff, Bolden fakes the pass. And you'll see this because obviously you want to make sure, you'll see him just to make sure, kind of a jump pass actually almost.
Which is the kind of thing that held him on the pass to Lloyd.
So there we go, another just hard run up the middle. It's going to be close to the first down. I think he's going to get the spot past the line. Yep. Going to take that ball into the 14-yard line. So if you're Princeton, what do you do now? I mean, they're just right back on the ball,
Yeah.
You can't change personnel.
You really got to try to blitz. I haven't seen much blitzing from their defense. They're kind of sitting back and waiting.
So there we go with more of a 4-2, and here comes the left inside. There you go, left inside blitzed, but the running back ran right past him. Now didn't gain a whole lot from that, but
it's still a positive play. Yeah, I'd love to see them try to come back to the field here with one of their athletes or even with good.
Now here's a question. We used to think in the old days that when you blitz, that was more to try to impact the passing game. But obviously in this case, this is trying to do a run fit there. Actually, it did screw up the play because the pulling guard impacted with the blitzer, which the blitzer didn't make a play, but there wasn't a whole lot going up the middle. Gain of 3. So 2nd and 7 from the 11-yard line for Lakota West here with 7:51 to go.
Yeah, he blew up Anderson Simpson there, which it was just perfect timing.
So here we go again. Looks like Coach Bolden is headed down that direction.
And
so what happens there, Andrew? What do you timeout called?
Might have saw something from up top where someone lined up wrong or something that you liked. I saw 2 of our receivers down here split out very wide, and it looked like Princeton was playing man.
So watching Lakota West, I mean, is when they see man on the outside, is that something they're looking forward to? Is that something they think they can take advantage of?
Yes. When you're talking about Minnick, Afari, Brown, and then even Trent Lloyd, who I know is talented with the ball in his hands, they'll throw up those 50-50 balls as well. They hit one on one of the best teams in the country in St. X a couple of times.
So here we go, a 2nd and 7 from the 11-yard line. I mean, there's a lot of time to go in this game, but it feels like this is if Lakota West could put this ball in the end zone,
feeling good.
Obviously, Princeton has not been sitting 7 down like this.
Yeah.
So far this year. I know that against Anderson early, it was a kind of a shootout.
Back and forth, yep. And it's kind of a testament to West has played one of the best teams in the country, and Princeton has not. So we're used to just kind of a dogfight.
So here we go. Fake up the middle. He's going to step back and pass. Bolden rolling out, and just nothing there.
Took a shot there.
Yeah.
A lot of run through.
And that looked like that was pretty good from Princeton perspective. There were 4 or 5 defenders, all kept pretty good positioning. Right, a lot of times you'll see 3 guys chasing, the quarterback and leaving opening holes. But in this case, they really kept their lanes pretty well, and that's the key against a mobile quarterback, right?
Yeah, the rule that's been taught to D linemen is to not get past quarterback depth, so then you can still stay in front of them and keep them in the pocket.
So here we go again, big play, 3rd and 12 now for Lakota West. You would think they're probably going to be looking to throw the ball. Bolden's going to roll to the right, throw back a screen to the left. Well set up, 3 linemen in front of him.
It's a great call. They've got us blitzing right on the past 2 plays with some pressure.
Look at this.
We catch them running
pushing everybody to the right side. And wow, really a nice play.
And the impressive thing was it was really a sprint out look. They made it look like Bolden and the right guard and right tackle were sprinting out to the right.
So touchdown Lakota West. They're going to try to add the extra point here. That was huge. I mean, I tell you, if you're Princeton, you have to be frustrated. I mean, you've shot yourself in the foot offensively. You had a pretty good defensive series there, at one, even getting to 3rd and 12, and then that.
Yeah, if you're Coach Parker and the offensive staff, you really kind of just want to tell your offensive line to stay in front of the defensive line for West, and then also snap the ball straight to Engelman and just let him go to work.
So here with 6:54 to go in the first half, Lakota West is up 17-0. Now, that seems like a big lead. It's early, and again, you mentioned Princeton this year, 58, 63, and 44 points.
Yeah, and when we're looking at the long run of Engelman's at 79 yards, Borden's got a 68-yard run, long receptions of 37, 35, and 65, so they're big play waiting to happen.
So, how do you do it? So unfortunately, we've all been in this situation, right? When you're down, you're not expecting to be down like this, and you're down. How do you get your kids, your team, just to regroup and relax and say, you know what, we know how to play this game, right? Let's just figure it out. We can't get 3 touchdowns at once. We got to put the ball and drive it down the field and get it in the end zone.
Yeah.
How do you convince them of that?
You've got to stay positive as a coaching staff, and hopefully you have some type of, not a trick play, a counter from what you've been running. Because one thing I know about Coach Bolden and West is they're going to keep playing aggressive. I mean, we saw them at West Claremont keep playing into halftime and trying to just keep scoring and getting stops.
Go to West to kick off. A little bit shorter this time. Caught around the 7-yard line. Here we go. Good. Looked like there might have been a hole, but a couple Lakota West guys, closed it out pretty quickly. But still, again, anytime you advance the ball out past the 20-yard line, you feel like you're not in the shadow anymore, right? I mean, you're 24-yard line, and enough guys kick it in the end zone that getting past the 20 is not so bad. It looks like about the 22 or 3 is where that will be spotted.
Good field position. It'd be good for Princeton's offense to maybe change tendency. I think they've ran on almost every first down they've had. So maybe a throw on first down, pop pass, something. Change it up.
Now, from that, I mean, do you think you need to do things different, or do you try to go back and say this is what's worked for the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's just a different opponent, and you're close to getting down and out here. There's the running back going the wrong way again.
And obviously a pretty effective run by the quarterback, but again, you mentioned earlier discipline, penalties, wrong spots. Like in this case, you're going to see right. The quarterback says, "Hey, I'm going to hand the ball to the right side." The running back's on his left side. So, what do you do as a coaching staff when you're having some discipline? That could have been a blindside block. Here we go again, though. It is 1st and 10 for Princeton, so he made something out of nothing. There we go, just straight up the middle, which I think was probably the play they were trying to run the other side last time. I guess the quarterback said, you know what, if the running back's going to my left, we'll just call the play to the left.
Yeah, it's just making things tough on the whole offense. I mean, I don't think they've had a loss from one of those mental errors yet, but eventually it's going to turn into a big play, maybe a fumble, which is just going to make the lead even bigger. So
when you have no tight ends, when you have no lead running back, is it pretty normal that you're going to try to run zone? I mean, it would be pretty hard to run anything else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a counter look there, but Lakota West forced Engelman to bounce, which, as we talked about earlier, is exactly what we need to do for a ball carrier.
You'll see it right here. We got
two guys pulling, and actually Brian Henderson did a great job getting inside of the pole, so the quarterback had nowhere to run. That you really want to hit inside of that kick-out block.
So we talked earlier about Minnick with the great long run catch. There's a nice play from him, and actually it looked like somebody forced it on the inside, made the quarterback stride out another stride, and then Minnick finished him off. So pretty big play. Rolling out left, not much there from Lakota West. And that's always a challenge, right? You're afraid, boy, do I come up and get the quarterback as a runner? And then what happens if he flips it over my head to one of these guys?
It's tough, and West lost contain there on the left or right side of the defensive line.
So it looks like they're going to be just short. We'll see that spot. I'm just looking at the official on this side. Looks like we're going to be maybe 4th and 2. So there's Brian Henderson chasing him.
Potential block in the back there.
And we'll see what happens here at the end. So as he's headed out of bounds. So number 9, Malik Hartford there, and it did a good job of not hitting him. They just let him kind of force out of the way here. Clock's running down the play clock. Yeah, they're down.
Think about it.
So I think Princeton, here, right? I mean, it's 4th and 2. They're at their own 42-yard line. They're down 17-0.
This is the play of the half for Princeton. Yeah.
Late first half. So, I mean, you have to get the quarterback moving, right? I mean, don't you have to give him at least?
I would think sprint out to the right, so get Engelman running out here to the right where he can run or pass. Similar play that they just did to the left there, I think would be their best bet.
So when you talk about right and left, in the old days, we talked a lot about you run the ball right or left, right-handed offenses, left-handed offense. Today, is it more about wide field side versus boundary? Do you try to run plays where there's maybe numeric matchups from that perspective, or is it still right-left?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. It's all about tendencies. But we saw, Engelman is not the best at throwing to his left, right? He had the interception. But, with all the technology that, is at our disposal nowadays, teams know, like I guarantee West's defensive coordinator knows, what they run in this situation percentage-wise.
So for the first time, we're going to see just 3 receivers split out. A little bit more conservative formation for him. Just run it straight up the middle.
I think Sparnell stopped him.
It's going to be close. We'll see. It's going to depend on the spot. Of course, you see somebody down here signaling first down. Well, of course it's first down. It was 4th and 2. It's first down for somebody.
Looks like they have the angle down there. I think Sparnell stopped him.
Lakota West clearly thinks so, as their defense is off the field. The Princeton offense.
They're going to measure, I think.
So here we go. They're going to. Looks like. From our angle, here's a little challenging, but as I look on the TV, it looks like he's short.
Yeah, refs telling everyone to stay off the field. They're going to take a look. It's just really interesting that they did not go with Engelman there.
So sometimes, is that getting cued again? They figure we're going to, right, that we're going to run the quarterback, so therefore we're not. Oh, he's a full yard short.
Wow. Great fit there by Tyler Sparnell with the tackle.
So what does fit mean? That's like a term of art. We didn't hear that 10 years ago and on TV. Now you hear it. Now maybe it's because a lot more players are talking on TV. What's that mean?
Defensively, usually you start practice with what they call run fits, and it's just everyone filling their gaps. And it's a big discipline thing, right? Stops big plays like that right at the line of scrimmage, and then he's able to square up and tackle.
So is that what we used to, for a while there they talked about gap discipline?
Yeah.
Now it's called fit?
Yeah, you usually just line up with trash cans and walk through all your stunts and blitzes and fill your gaps.
And so that just means that each player has either 1 or 2 gaps of responsibility?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure in our defense usually just 1 here at West.
So here we go, 1st and 10 for Lakota West. Deep inside Princeton territory at the 43-yard line. First down on the slant.
They had it, and if Fafari catches that, he's got a chance to run all the way to the end zone.
So could you get any angle? It looked
I thought
catchable?
He just took his eyes off it. Yep. That's a great changeup. I think Coach Beauchamp is calling a great game right now.
So the one thing you see that more common, it would appear, when a receiver is going inside, that is a little harder. Obviously, there's a lot more traffic in there, meaning a lot more other players. Try to get your head up a little bit just to see where those safeties are.
Yeah, there's a chance you're going to take a big hit. That's never fun. But you see, there's no safeties right now.
So 2nd and 10, they're just going to run it right up the middle.
I think you take another shot if you're West. Princeton's playing man and stacking the box.
So that was 7. They actually had 7 players come off that pile. So, clearly they just look how tight everything is. They did a good, the defensive lineman for Princeton did a good job taking on the Lakota West players and not being moved, and it really narrowed the area where everybody had to fill. So from that perspective, it's now sitting here with 3:58 to go in the first half, 17-0 Lakota West over Princeton. 3rd and 11 from the 44-yard line.
2-by-2 for West, and you got a 1 high safety. Someone's got to win.
So here he goes, straight back.
Ooh.
It looks like a completion, we'll see, but short of the first down. So looked like they threw it ahead about 7 or 8 yards. So do you do that just trying to set up a 4th and makeable?
Yeah. They called it incomplete.
Oh, okay.
But absolutely, that was the idea.
Oh, there's the ball goes into the coaching staff.
But it looks like, man, I think he ripped it out at the end there.
Yeah.
I guess that's completing the catch nowadays. Old Des Bryant back at Green Bay cost him a playoff game.
So 4th and 10, obviously up 17-0. You're going to try to pin him deep here?
Yep, we'll see if Princeton's coming after it. Let's see.
Let's see what they can do here. Interesting approach. So got a little bit more out of it than
roll to the 16.
Yeah, so and I think that was similar to what Princeton tried to do, only their kick went out of bounds.
Yep, he put it in the play. I think that was Alex Safari that put it in the play there.
So that was a good play, and it's interesting, right? Because the way it works here, that the line can release if the punter waits a little bit longer like that. You got a little bit more chance of coverage and less chance of the guy picking up the ball and running.
Yeah.
And in this case, since the ball stayed in the field of play, it was a pretty effective kick. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Princeton from their own 16-yard line. So they lost about 30 yards on that effort to go for it on 4th down, and they lost about 2 minutes of clock. He tucks right away, runs through the defensive line, still on his feet, out past the 30-yard line or right at the 30-yard line.
That's just empty, designed quarterback draw. They're just trying to let him find a lane and then use his skill set to go to work.
I do see number 9, Malik Hartford, in on that tackle, one of the safeties, so not a huge surprise, although that's always the catch-22. You like to see your safeties fill. You'd rather them not make tackles 13 yards downfield.
I bet they're doing the same thing here. Look how tight these trips are, almost on west sideline.
So here we go. Looks like it might have a hold there. Nothing called.
That's a block in the back.
Or a illegal blindside block. And I don't know where he actually made contact with him, but either way, I think you could see the official reaching for his flag when he saw him lining him up and knowing that the defender didn't know where he is. You're going to see this on the left side. He's going to come around. There's a guy from Lakota West there, Aiden Miller, and there he comes. And as you mentioned, I think he even got him in the back, but even if he got him in the side.
And it's just, again, interesting. We talk about discipline. It does just not look like Princeton has practiced. I mean, Engelman running around out there, almost what you would call scramble drill, and not committing any penalties like this.
So, I mean, once again, here you go with the 5 wide, 5 blockers and the quarterback. Going to try to run it right up the middle again. Didn't even really fake much. Now, interesting there, he took it to the short side or the boundary side. Not a lot of room to work with there. Yeah. Wouldn't you think when you have that kind of athlete, it'd make more sense to get him, and especially when he's right-handed.
Right.
Wouldn't you rather see him roll to the right? And in this play, he'd already tucked it. He wasn't going to throw.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But to set up some of the RPO stuff, if you had him go to the right, clearly that gives him more chance to be effective.
Yeah, and here it is again. I mean, they've got trips to the field. They're in empty. I guarantee they're just going to let him run or pass.
And so he steps straight back. You see a couple patterns underneath. Just really not much there. I mean, effective. And, I say not much there. He got 8 or 9 yards. But
there's another flag on the field.
But on 2nd and 16 anyway, wow.
And this is just a testament to Lakota West defense, too. I mean, they haven't let him break the big one, and they are flying around, really putting pressure on the Princeton offensive line, too.
So have you ever been in a situation like this? You're the offensive coordinator. You've had, 4 holds. You've had a snap over your quarterback's head. And of course you're on the road, which always is frustrating when these things seem to happen.
And it's your first time having adversity this season as well. You just got to keep coaching. It's tough, but got to keep coaching.
Now here's what we talked about earlier, right? You like to see him roll right with the ball in a cocked position, and it's sure a heck of a lot easier to run right with the ball, in theory, to be thrown right when you're a right-hander.
Right, and
so Lakota West took a timeout here. Obviously, they're going to try to stop the clock, 1:55, so they can maybe get another play here, get another score in before. That was Aiden Miller, 23, with a solo tackle. Wow.
And Elijah Davis pursuing, too. The D-line, Henderson, Davis, Bobby are just flying around relentlessly.
And number 90, Davis, if you saw that, the guy took on the block, but he delivered the blow, right? He knocked the running back.
He got what we would call movement, which is what you want as a defensive line.
And the result is the quarterback then has to go a little bit deeper, which should give everybody a little bit more time, better pursuit angles. And obviously, from that perspective, Aiden Miller didn't need any more help than that. I mean, he put a shoulder on the quarterback, wrapped him up, and tackled him for a short gain.
And if you're Princeton, we talk about the approach as an offense at this point. You're really just trying to have, a positive play or just a no gain so that you can punt it. I mean, West is smelling blood here.
And that's the thing to think about there. I mean, that was a 6-yard game. But we're looking at what a great defensive play because it was 2nd and 26. So obviously West was in a good position. You take maybe take an extra step to make sure you make a solid tackle. You don't need to tackle him, for a loss. You just want to keep them in these kind of situations. 3rd and 20 is a tough way to live your life, right?
Yep.
He does complete it over the middle. Wow, and he's still on his feet. Now, a question for you here, Andrew. Where do you spot this?
I think you have to get he kept running after he got popped, so I think you got to give it to him back there.
So great hit from Lakota West, even though we used to call those ESPN hits. You don't wrap up, but watch this. Guy makes a nice little move in the middle, and boom. And
he'll hear about that one tomorrow on film, but You got to love the effort.
But let's be fair. That was Malik Hartford, number 9. He came back and finished the tackle. So after he knocked him back, he ran back about 7 or 8 more yards, and he still got the tackle. So I guess that's he didn't wrap him up the first time.
Yeah, it's great effort.
But it sure worked. And after he did, and he kept his feet. What you really get worried about, the guy that delivers the huge blow, doesn't wrap, and goes to the ground himself and allows the back or the receiver to move.
Okay.
In this case, nothing. So here, 1:39 to go.
Looks like they have Cole Walker in, who is listed as a kicker on Princeton's roster, who has not kicked tonight.
So Lakota West should get good field position here with 1:39 to go in the half. Kick is a solid kick straight down the middle. Interesting. It's kind of funny when you see that because the defense is like, okay, he's not calling a fair catch. They were able to break down just a couple yards forward, but the result is because they lost their momentum, he actually advanced it forward about 3 yards.
It's impressive. I mean, it shows you how athletic and the ball skills of Jair Brown there. I mean, he didn't bat an eye. The 2 guys were staring him down.
So here we go. Lakota West with 120. Well, we'll see what the clock is. 128 to go. Up 17-0. This is huge, right? If they can make something happen here, they're starting this possession right on midfield. We know they've got a field goal kicker, right? They've already made a 35, 36-yarder. So they've got options here. See what happens with Mitch Bolden. Feels like it's been a while since he's been out on the field. Back to pass.
What a catch. What a catch.
Nice play, right?
That's what you call a hole shot.
Now, and again, that's Trent Lloyd. Trent was injured the first game. Obviously, he's back. And
it's a talented kid. We got a penalty on the field in the area of holding, though. Let's see if we – yep, there it is.
There it is. Yep. Darn it.
He did not have to do that. Your offensive lineman's being aggressive. He didn't have to do it, but he's just playing hard. Sometimes you got to live with that.
And unfortunately, a great catch, great run after catch by Lloyd.
Awesome.
For not, but still, it was a great play.
Yeah.
And a really nice throw by Bolden. Is that what you mean by the 50-50 ball? I mean, he threw that. There wasn't space. He didn't have, right?
It was almost 50-25-25 because there was 2 Princeton defenders there. And it was just impressive concentration and nice touch by Bolden.
And they used to talk about, can a receiver get separation? It's pretty hard to get separation with a minute to go and a half, right? I mean, they kind of know you're trying to move the ball.
Yeah.
He didn't get separation, but he got the ball.
Yeah, and the safety was there over top, and he's strong, and he caught it and kept his feet. It was awesome.
So the result of the holding penalty is going to be that it's 1st and 22 from Lakota West back at their own 38-yard line. So some of that bad mojo that had been hitting Princeton just struck Lakota West for probably the first time here. So what do you do, Lakota West? Do you still try to push it down to score?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Coach Bolden is definitely going to try to put some points up here. I think you see what happens on this first play, though.
So now we have a delay game, so another 5 yards.
West was trying to huddle there. It looked like do a quick huddle, and they just lost track of time.
So it's going to be a 1st and 27 from back to your 33-yard line. So we'll see what Lakota West does here. I mean, is this one of those if you can try to run something underneath, get some?
I was thinking maybe screen.
That was pretty effective earlier.
Yeah, as aggressive as their fronts being for Princeton.
So they've got a very tight formation here.
Usually means they run something to the outside on the perimeter.
Brought him back across the middle. Another nice run. It's actually going to be close to a first down. It looks like it's going to be about 2nd and 1, and that's Hollywood Brown again with the catch and run.
That's awesome. I mean, you saw basically wheel routes on the outside, and then the 2 inside receivers ran to the middle of the field.
So the wide receiver's a little deeper this time.
There's that out route
Run
again.
the out and keeps his feet nice, and then gets out about. Trent Lloyd, I mean, obviously he's impactful so far tonight.
Yeah. And we talk about, right, Bolden's like a running back. You got Cam Good, obviously. Trent Lloyd really is another running back on the perimeter. Look at him breaking tackles after the catch.
That's a nice play, right? He's able to get the ball, and then, discretion, better part of hour, get out of bounds, get the clock stopped with 47 seconds to go. First down inside Princeton territory around the 33-yard line. Another first down, and you start at least getting even field goal range. I mean, obviously you want the touchdown. Here's that screen, obviously setting up.
Tell you what, the outside rush really is getting there for Princeton. They're running right around. They ran right around Latham McComas there.
And at least it looked like they were trying to set up a screen. But like you said, you try to let them come inside, but not that far from the outside. So big play here after the loss. Clock is running. Going to try to throw downfield. Got him over the head. Oh. Interesting. I'm
extracurricular.
guessing number 12 was likely the guy who couldn't tag him before or tackle him before, so was a little proud of himself for this ball that was 4 feet over his head.
Little hands to the face there on number 8 for Princeton as well. So they're letting them play for sure.
So we're going to see what happens here with a 3rd and 16 with 20 seconds to go. Be interesting to see. So if you're Lakota West, do you try to run something underneath and then set yourself up either to go for a 4th or maybe even a long field goal attempt? I don't know what the range they're dealing with today.
And at the same time, taking a shot wouldn't be bad. If you give up a pick, inside the 20, it's kind of like a punt.
So same challenge here, although if he can get around these guys, he's got a chance. Caught him coming back.
Richardson with the nice footwork there on the sideline.
And that's great receiver, right? I mean, you got a right-handed quarterback running left, can't really get turned fully. He couldn't throw it deep, and the receiver comes back to him, right? Gave him a passing angle for a first down in field goal range with 11 seconds to go.
Yep, that's that scramble drill, right? Short receivers go deep receivers come back. It's just fundamental football.
Here we go. Looks like there's going to be a timeout from Princeton. They're going to figure out what they want to do at this case. Now, Lakota West has no timeouts. 11 seconds to go. If you're tackled in play, you probably don't get another playoff. So obviously, if you're going to throw the ball, you're going to throw the ball to the somewhere around the sideline. Frankly, if you try to run all the way to the right side and throw it, it's probably going to take a bunch of time if you catch it in play.
I'm thinking you catch and throw. I would look to see someone, maybe Trent Lloyd, since he's got the hot hand, into the boundary here on the Lakota West sideline. Maybe a fade, something of that nature, just to get it up and get it quick. Maybe get 2 plays if it's incomplete.
So you right, but you're throwing it into the end zone or at this point, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Because if you go back and throw it in the end zone, you're probably going to get another play. It shouldn't take 11 seconds from this close to, especially if you roll left.
Looks like we're getting that. Basically, we would call it dose tight when we ran it. Your 2x2 formation, and the receivers have tight splits here.
So here we go. We'll see Bolden back here, 11 seconds.
There's Brown in the middle again. It's the same play.
Wow. I mean, now it worked. Touchdown, Lakota West. But gosh, if he got tackled at the 1, right, the half ends.
And Bolden he's staying in the pocket strong too.
Now, in fairness, I'll tell you what, that may not be the case because that would have been a first down. So the clock would have stopped to reset the chains, which probably would have given you enough time to spike it. So,
yep, it was good protection by the offensive line, and I really like Bolden climbing the pocket there. I mean, it's not something you see a lot from a high school quarterback.
I mean, that was 2 pretty good throws, those last plays, right? The sideline with the comeback, and then across the middle there to Brown.
Yeah, it's tough because they start tight. I do not think a lot of high school defenses are used to adjusting the splits like that by receivers.
So there we have it with 6 seconds to go in the half. Lakota West all over the Princeton Vikings, 24-0. I mean, wow. If you're Princeton, you're just trying to get back in that locker room and regroup, right?
Yeah, you got to figure something out, have some type of success, and see if you can make a game of it. And then also, I mean, you still have a whole season, to continue and keep playing. And for West, I know they're up 24-0, but I guarantee you they're going to be getting coached up on the sidelines and in the locker room at halftime.
So at this point, do you squib if you're Lakota West? Just try to down. Do you kick? Just do the same thing you've been doing. I mean, Princeton has some explosive offense, right? Guys returning the ball.
There have been some holes, but we have pursued and kind of stayed in our lanes to make the tackles. So, I mean, our 2 inside or 3 inside guys on kickoff are Afari, Miller, and then Fusel, who we know can kind of run and tackle, which is legit. So
and here's my take: if you could kick it into the end zone, I think you kick in the end zone. But we have 1 touchback, but going this direction, we haven't got it in the end zone yet, right? And actually, it was between the 5 and 10. So, we'll see what happens.
Or even a pooch or a sky kick to let our guys just run and force them to fair catch.
So Sparnell to kick deep again. And there you go. Exactly what you called for. Now he's signaled a fair catch.
Fair catch, yep. There you go.
So, well, Coach, you got it perfectly right? It was that like sky kick or whatever. Got a fair catch, and you look at that, he shouldn't have fair caught it, but it's a guy who doesn't catch he doesn't get catch the ball
A lot
very
of
often.
times they're very nervous. They're told not to back up if they have to back up to not catch it because they're not used to it.
So it's probably going to be a moot point here. Clock's going to have to reset because there's no way you get 3 seconds there since it's a fair catch. But we're also going to be dealing here with the penalty, and it's whatever you want to call it, right? I mean,
it's interesting because he kept running. The Princeton receiver kept running, and our guys are just playing football.
So, it used to be they would call that a delay a game when you run after or an improper fair catch signal, right?
I think that's what they called too.
So they're going to move him back 5 yards, and they're going to reset the clock up to 5 because they're going to say he caught. It was kicked at 6. He caught it, but it was immediately dead ball. So you're going to run something, which is a second, but you can't run any more than that because he was down the minute he possessed it.
See if Princeton takes a knee here.
I mean, you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
West is in prevent. They're in the they're in the gun.
All right. We'll see what they decide to.
They're checking out the defense, trying to get the best call, which might be that underneath route.
I mean, are you just trying to get something
There's
to
a
happen?
50-50 ball. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're lucky to get if
Right.
Afari catches that on the run, and now you've got a player down.
It might have been 31-0, right?
Yep,
Afari
exactly.
catches
I had
that. I mean,
visions
do you think they're just trying to get some positive going into the half?
absolutely, yeah, a little momentum going in to halftime. That was visions of Ben Minnick in the West Claremont game where he came out of nowhere and took one to the house for 60 yards.
So there we have it. At the end of one half here from Firebird Stadium at Lakota West 24, and Princeton nothing.
You hope I'm not sure which receiver that was, but you hope he's all right.
Welcome back to Lakota West Firebird Stadium for the second half of this GMC matchup between Lakota West and Princeton. I'm Brent Phelan along with Andrew Phelan. Andrew, first half, not what everybody expected, but it seems like you're not as surprised.
Yeah, if you look at the schedules of the two teams, Princeton's played 2 ECC opponents, right, which they put up big points. Anderson, not known for playing defense, which there was over 1,000 yards of offense in that game. And then Dublin Kaufman, who is a good program but looks to be having a down year, whereas Lakota West has played one of the best teams in the country, and then West Claremont and a GMC team. So a little better competition from Lakota West.
So up 24-0 to start the third quarter. Tyler Sparnell, number 3, kicks off deep for the Firebirds. Princeton takes it from the 1-yard line. Looks like a little bit of hole up the middle, but closed nicely. And
been very impressive. That's a Fari there running right down the middle of the field and making a nice tackle.
So what's your take on that? There's a lot of starters on the special teams for Lakota. There you go, number 2, Afari. You've seen 23, Aiden Miller right there, the leading tackler in the first half.
Yeah, it's always a discussion, and with coaching staffs, do we have starters? Do we have our studs on special teams? But if you want to be great, I think it's the way to go.
So Princeton's going to come out on offense. Really, the only thing they had in the first half, from a yards perspective, was the running of the quarterback.
Yeah, and it's been interesting. When they have ran the running back, sometimes he's gone the wrong way, and we've seen a lot of holds and undisciplined plays.
So a quick pass outside, gets into the second tier. Now, good play right off the bat for Princeton. I mean, obviously they went in there down 24-0 and had to regroup. We talked about that earlier with when they spread the field so wide, there's not a whole lot of levels to the defense. And right, you make it past that first tackle, and there is a nice gap there. So 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. So good start for the half. Runs it up the middle for another 5 yards.
And it's the first time really we just saw a nice bubble, right, from Engelman on the perimeter there, and then they just ran it to the field here, but they handed it off. So he has the option to throw that, and he's throwing it pretty well.
So here's the tempo for them, right back to the line of scrimmage. Another good one cut from the running back. It's going to get close. It'll be about 3rd and 1 for the Princeton Vikings.
I don't think we've seen 24 Lugo Flowers tote the rock tonight until the second half. He looks pretty good. He's 6 foot. He's a bigger back. He's having some success here to start the half.
So here we go. From a defensive perspective, Lakota West was led in the first half by Aiden Miller, Malik Hartford, and Ben Minnick from the tackle's perspective. Wow, almost didn't get that. He is going to advance it 3 yards or 2.5 yards for the first down. But there was some penetration in the backfield, almost brought him down. Again, as we mentioned earlier, he had 71 yards rushing in the first half.
So there's the versatility of Alex Fari. No, he doesn't make the play, but he holds him up enough to let the other Lakota West defenders make the play.
But success for Princeton as it's a first down in Firebird territory. Here they go, going to run it right back up the middle again. Not near as much there, maybe 2 yards on the run. Looks like they're going to mark him with a gain of about 1. So it'll be 2nd and 9 here.
What they're doing is they're going to a 2-by-2 formation, so 2 receivers to each side. They're running their inside zone, but both inside receivers are running bubbles. So the quarterback's looking. He might throw the bubble. He might hand it off.
Here we go again, and there it is. An interesting play there, right? He faked throwing the bubble, which froze the defense in the middle, and then he ran it up the middle for 4 or 5 yards. See where they spot him, a gain of about 4. So we're going to be looking at 3rd and 5. We'll see that again. You're going to see him fake. Yeah, that was right after he faked to the guy to the left side.
And they had the big gain on the bubble, so our perimeter is running with that bubble, which is giving him some room.
Look like Aiden Miller on that tackle once again. So here we go, 3rd and 5. Oh, a hold on that side. Yeah, it looks like no call. Nice. Wow, that was a nice job from the left side of the Lakota West defense. Didn't quite catch who that was, but somebody broke down pretty well, made the quarterback try to get around him. It looked like it might have been number 11, Jacob Asbeck.
Yeah, I think he's a sophomore, so we've got a couple young guys out there making plays, which is great.
Yeah, that was a nice play. They had good inside out for him. So
it's very interesting that they didn't just stick with the 2-by-2, what we would call a run-pass option, where Engelman could throw the bubble, hand it off, or run it himself there. You basically had 2 downs to get it with the score of the game and the field position. They went to empty instead.
So now they may have lost a half yard. It's a 4th and a long 5. Big play. I know it's early in the third quarter, but big play here with no points on the board so far for Princeton, and just threw it way over. And here's the thing, he overthrew the receiver by several yards. Lakota West was right there. I mean, he would have had to make two guys miss to get to the line of scrimmage and then still advance another 5 yards without any pursuit coming out there to get him. If
they would have showed the replay, I think we would have seen one of the receivers running right down the middle of the field, because when they pump faked, they kind of got us biting on the screen there.
And then when he threw out that direction, of course, the defense was out there.
In great position.
So good stop by Lakota West, and that means they're going to take over on offense for the first time in this half with 8:43 to go. And pretty good field position starting at their own 39. You'll see number 7, Mitch Bolden, in shotgun formation. Going to hand the ball right up the middle. Nice gap.
And that's what you like to see. I guarantee they got coached up in the locker room as an offensive line to just continue to work to cover the Princeton defensive line up and give some lanes to Cam Good.
So we got about 11 or 12 yards there. Going to go try it again. Same thing. A little bit of hesitation there. Not much. Looks like he gained about 2 yards. What's interesting is Lakota West in the first half was 16 carries for 66 yards. So a little over 4 yards a carry. Not what you would expect out of a normal Lakota West offense.
No, yeah, they had the big run by Bolden, and other than that, it was kind of, 1, 2 yards, 3 yards, maybe a loss. So, yeah, it's definitely was a point of emphasis at halftime.
Now, the surprise was Mitch Bolden, 9 of 12 for 156 yards passing.
Yeah, he was definitely on point. We saw some good things from him in the pocket and then also some touch.
So here we go, 2nd and 9. Going to hand it up the middle again. A nice quick, I tell you, he does a nice job. Right? I know in the NFL they call him one-cut guys. Right? He makes one move and then he lowers the shoulders and squares up and goes.
Straight line. He's impressive. It's great to see the offensive line up 24-0, still grinding people out. And then also, Mitch Bolden is still out there fake throwing after he hands it off.
So here we are, 3rd and short for Lakota West. So coming out here, running the ball successfully. Is it something you think they did scheme-wise that's changed that? Or do you think maybe Princeton is a little deflated after they came out a couple first downs thinking, okay, now we go, and then we're unable to convert on that 4th down?
Yeah, I think that Princeton's, lacking confidence, but then also I think it's just a testament to West's size. Shout out to Isaac Tanner and the strength program and our depth.
So we're going to run it straight up the middle and going to get the first down. Not a lot there, but they didn't need a lot.
And another thing is I guarantee, Coach Bolden and the staff know down the stretch they're going to need their running game and need to be able to do this to close games out. So it's going to be a point of emphasis. This is almost like practice now where they're working on things that they need to improve on.
So they actually had called that a first down, which makes this now a 2nd and 9. So obviously Princeton had a lot of problems with discipline. 7 penalties for 70 yards. Hard to be very effective when you do that in a half. And most of them are on the offense.
Yeah, it hurts.
Oh, wow. And did you see? That'll be an interesting one if we do have a chance to see that again. It's going to be a really nice run along the left side. They brought somebody from the secondary. You're going to see a blitz from the secondary. Gets too deep.
Yep. Allows
the running back then to take the space that guy vacated.
Yeah, he essentially, I think it was a DB, but he was the end man on the line of scrimmage, we like to call him. And he just kept going upfield, which just leaves that C gap wide open.
And so Good was able to have a nice run on the left side and did a good job, right? We talk about that quarterbacks look for where the guy vacates to throw the ball. Running backs, right? You see a guy come from there, there's one less player there.
It's impressive vision.
Here he goes to the right side. Another nice little bounce for him there. Good tackle. But he's going to get, it's always nice when the first guy that you're trying to make misses 7 yards downfield.
And this is great to see. I think Cam Good runs heavy. He's always falling forward. He's a good-looking back.
So let's shout out a little bit to that offensive line out there. They're pretty successful drive so far.
Yeah, it's great. They're doing what I like to call covering them up. Cam Good's only seeing black jerseys right now.
So here we go. 2nd and 4. 13-yard line. Interesting there, right? So
it's a nice tackle, but I tell you what, the fundamentals, I know Mitch Bolden's ran a little triple option probably in his life. Just look at him ride this. It's so tough on the defense.
So they have no idea which guy's going to take the ball, and actually either of them could have had some success. Mitch is one man away from getting that in probably in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, that is very tough there. And the offensive line, again, getting movement, right? To allow him to ride that for 2-3 steps is awesome.
So first and goal from the 9-yard line here for Lakota West, midway through the third quarter. There's a little bit of a, I think it's going to be on the offense. I think we're going to be looking at first and goal from the 14.
Yeah, good, got a little excited there.
So we start on the left side of the offensive line. You're going to see number 77. That's Tegra Shabola. We'll just see this here.
It's interesting when we look at Princeton's alignment on defense. I mean, they're almost giving slant here to Trent Lloyd in the slot. So much room out there. They're definitely playing man.
So we'll see what we have here. You see 72 out there, Tony Curtis, 76, Connor Snowden on the offensive line for Lakota West. Back to pass for the first time this half. Wide open.
Yep. Man, I think they ran switch routes, so Jair and Lloyd just kind of switched spots. One went inside, one went outside, and got them twisted up.
So, give credit to you, right? You talked about Trent Lloyd out there, and sure enough, they threw it right out there for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Nice to see Trent out here making plays, right? I mean, that was pretty scary early in that St. X game when he went down with the injury.
Yeah, I know they have plans for him to be a big part of the offense like he has tonight, so it's good to see us get back to full strength and get him going.
So obviously there's a penalty called on the play.
Huh.
So we'll see what we have here. Looks like we're going to be first and goal from the 25-yard line. I'm assuming that's a holding call. So what do you do now? But look at this lineup right now. I mean, you got man on the left side with both guys, and the safety can't even be in the play. Now he's going to try to roll a little bit over, but let's be honest, he's got very little chance on any play. You can see they're going to run the ball. Wasn't necessary there. A little bit of a run, maybe about 4 yards.
Then what got their DBs into trouble on the touchdown that was called back is when you're playing man, you don't want DBs to be on the same level. You don't want them to be even, so then they can't switch. Well, they're playing on the same level right now.
So pretty good surge there from Lakota West. Looks like Good got a little antsy and cut it back to the right instead of staying behind those black jerseys. They weren't moving people downfield, but he cut back to the right where there was no blocking, and again he gained 4 yards on the play, so it's not like it's a terrible play. But you're going to be sitting here still, quite a ways out of the 21-yard line, second and goal now. And again, just looking at this formation on the left side, it's really 2-on-2.
Yeah, and number 3 for Princeton,
another penalty.
Dalen White he's basically face guarding Jair Brown.
So another penalty there on Lakota West. So some of those things that were happening to Princeton in the first half started to happen to Lakota West here. I'm sure Coach Bolton's not very happy with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. He's back to throw. He's going to throw to one of the two deep guys.
That's just
now. Who are you going to call that on? So Jair Brown makes the catch. There is interference, obviously, in the end zone.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I think it's going to be on Jair, right? It looked like he might have put the hands on the defender to get some separation to catch the ball.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's just playing hard, being aggressive.
Is that a little harder, do you think, for when you play defense and offense like that? I mean, in those kind of balls, defense, a lot of times you put your hands on the guy.
Yeah, it's probably his muscle memory is probably built with defense and extending. And I tell you what, though, I'd go right back to it. They're playing man. It's our best on their best. And we got to let our athletes play here.
So it's now interesting. What do you have in your playbook for that? It's going to be second and goal from the 41-yard line.
Looks like we're taking the tight end out, so I think we're going to try to – Anderson Simpson's coming out of the game and Ben Minnick's coming in, so we're going to try to spread it out a little bit.
Do you do a screen or something here just to at least try to get it to third and manageable?
Yeah, absolutely, or the way we've been running, and maybe hope for another pull and a good read by Mitch Bolden.
So here we go. Fakes the handoff, rolls a little bit left, stands up. Going to get pressure on him and going to bring him for a small loss. You can see the receiver out on the outside for Lakota West, and looks like that was the running back. Open, but he just couldn't quite get set and throw it back that direction to him.
Yeah, it was a nice fake. I mean, they fooled the slot over here. Trent Lloyd got him on a double move, but it's just a tough throw coming back to the left off of play action.
And it looked like he might have tried to come left, set himself, and throw back to that guy on the right side. And I don't know if the running back was on a wheel route or what it was, but he was down on the sideline.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how he got over there. So you're now going to be looking at third and goal from the 44-yard line.
It's also tough because you probably don't want to show anything new at this point in the game as well.
So they are still going to go back to throw the ball. He's going to step up, as you said. He's past the line of scrimmage. Got a decent amount of yards here.
Just look at the difference, though. We've seen Engelman for Princeton scramble all night, right? Getting blocks in the back on the perimeter. West, very disciplined, just staying in front on the perimeter when scramble happens.
So he got more than half of that, right? He's inside the 20-yard line, or right at the 20-yard line. So from third and goal at the 44, it's now fourth and goal from the 20 and back into field goal range, right? I mean, 37-yard attempt. See what we can find this time. Already been successful on one kick. I think it was it looks like they're going to be about 37. I think last time it was maybe 36 yards. Oh. This is Tyler Bond.
Yep, Aaron Peters on the hold.
Plenty of leg. See if he pulled it a bit. No, off the upright. Off the upright. So plenty of leg, right? I mean, that was two-thirds of the way up the upright.
And that's the tough one for the lefty as well. But shout out to Evan Peters. I believe he's rocking number 6 in honor of Matt Stratman. I think they pick out a senior every year who's worthy of that. So shout out to him.
So here we go, Coach Bolden. We're getting a view of him here. Not very happy with what happened there. And that's the thing with Coach Bolden, right? I mean, 24-0, nothing 24.
Always coaching, which is a huge thing, teachable moments. And he's always locked in and has his staff doing that as well.
So the ball was roughly at the 20-yard line, but it goes back to the 20-yard line in high school, right? Because a missed field goal is considered a touchback when it goes through the end of the end zone. So they spotted it, maybe gained maybe a yard on the exchange there. We're going to see this first play here, quick throw out, and that's what you called earlier the bubble.
Yeah. So essentially, I don't know if Engelman's reading it, but all you do is count. If there's 3 receivers and only 2 defenders, you have to go ahead to throw the bubble to the receiver.
And so one receiver steps back, and the other 2 move forward and to block?
Yeah, and the receivers did a great job blocking there.
So gained about 5 on the play, so 2nd and 5 for Princeton. See what happens here. They're going to pitch. Are they throwing it? Not sure, boy. It's interesting.
Looked like he was glancing the throw. But I tell you what, you look at Alex Afari and his closing speed there. It's very impressive.
So now that's a couple times where Afari has closed fast. He's changed the play, but he's not been in control enough to make the tackle. From a coaching perspective, do you like the fact that he gets there quick and makes the offensive guy play, or would you rather him break down a bit and be able to make the play himself?
I think you'd like to rather see him break down and make the play. You're always wanting your guys to get better. I know he's getting coached up on that by Coach Holes and the defensive staff.
So here we go, 3rd and 9 after that play, and it was a nice play, a little pump fake. Good. Oh, boy, he gets loose, but hey, look at Lakota West. They are continuing to chase him around. You can tell that a couple frustrated Firebirds there for not getting it. Aiden Miller involved in the tackle. You're going to see 11 there. Once again, that's Asbeck. Got hands on him but couldn't bring him down. See Davis there, 90. And then there's Aiden Miller, and we'll have to see who's coming 32. From the inside. It's 32, Owen Kaufman.
Very impressive by him. He was getting double-teamed at one point during that play.
So nice defensive series for Lakota West. That'll be 4th and 7 with 18 seconds to go in the third quarter, and Princeton will be forced to punt. I tell you what, if you're Lakota West, though, up 24-0 after, at halftime, you're pretty happy if you can go even in the third quarter, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You have really given them nothing to start the game here, or start the second half here.
A little bit of a scramble there.
But I guarantee the defensive staff is thinking, they've seen a lot of spread looks here to open the half. This is, again, great reps for them. I mean, you got Hamilton who runs a spread, Mason who runs a spread, Fairfield, Middletown coming up, 4 weeks in a row, teams that run the spread on offense.
So at the end of 3 quarters, Lakota West 24 and Princeton nothing. So welcome back to Lakota West Firebird Stadium as we start the fourth quarter. Wow, Andrew. I mean, not much off. Well, I say that. Lakota West had a pretty good drive. It chewed up a lot of that quarter, but no points in the third quarter, leaving the score still 24-0 Lakota West after 3.
Yeah, they were really gashing Princeton with the running game, especially inside, and then they kind of got hit with the penalty bug and had to settle for a field goal, which then they did not convert.
You know, it's interesting. In the first half, Lakota West only had 3 penalties for 22 yards, unlike Princeton, who had 7 for 70. And they had some pretty significant penalties. But Lakota West is going to start here 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. Penalty right on the go.
It's like a little bit
unsportsmanlike. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, we got some talking going on.
Couldn't quite tell if it was a substitution infraction or unsportsmanlike conduct. Guess we'll find. Well, that would be unsportsmanlike conduct. So you just assume somebody did he eject him, or did he just tell him to get off on the sideline and settle down? Looks like it's Jair Brown that Coach Bolden's talking to, and it looked like the official sent him off the field. Yeah. Now, sometimes they eject somebody for something they say. Most of the time, they just tell them get off the field and settle down. And you know,
settle down, go get coached up, and if you can come back out and just play football, then come back out. Yeah.
But 15-yard penalties on 1st and 10 make it pretty challenging because of when that happens, it becomes 1st and 25. Here they go. He's going to follow his running back through the same hole, Mitch Bolden, with the run.
They're reading the interior defensive lineman there. It happens very quick, and he was closing right on. You can see 44 right on Cam Good. Bolden pulls it.
So number 12 for Princeton, Maceo Powell, got the tackle, went down. Looks like maybe a cramp. Looks like he's kind of stretching that leg out, or
cramp or hyperextension.
You know, clearly if it's a knee or ankle, they wouldn't let him be running, hopping off the field like that. So I'm just assuming cramp or Charlie horse from that perspective, because it looks like you can see here the back of that calf looks really tight. So gain on the play of about 8. So 2nd and 17 for Lakota West. I tell you, so. What do you think Coach Bolden is thinking for this half? I mean, an increase in penalties?
For sure, yes.
There's a lack of discipline penalty there, right? A dead ball and sportsmanlike conduct.
Something that you do not want to see, especially if you're going to be in tight games down the stretch.
So here they go, 2nd and 17. Going to run it up the middle and bounces it again. Nice run. It's going to get close to the original line of scrimmage. Looks like it'll probably be 3rd and 11 for Lakota West. Looked like the play was designed, I guess it's zone, but it looked like it was designed more inside.
Yeah, you like that to go inside, but he, saw green grass, and a lot of times it's hard to turn that down.
And from that perspective, he gained 6. So a running play, you gained 6. It's hard to, it looks like he's maybe a little gimpy coming off the play.
Hopefully that's just a cramp, yep.
So it'll be 3rd and 11 for Lakota West. I think they would really like to convert this, put another score on the board. And that's the challenge, right? 24-0 in the first half. This is a great outing. You're in, this would something that people in the city would like, really? Nobody was quite sure about Princeton. They put a bunch of points up. Lakota West going to take a timeout.
There's a lot. I think the staff saw that we're in trips to the field, and they're just manning up. Princeton is playing man-to-man, 3-on-3.
So do you know what do you do there? Do you throw it to the outside? Do you try to bring somebody back to the middle?
I think here, you could go all goes if you want and really have someone kind of stretch it into a post down the middle of the field, or more of a numbers fade where an inside guy runs a fade and then a hitch on the outside, which would be an easy read for Bolden.
He was 9-12 in the first half. He's had some successes here. I don't know exactly what the stats will show because a couple of them were, we had an offensive interference. We had, actually 2 touchdowns were called back.
Yeah, he's been impressive tonight. You'd love to see a pass here, and with him sitting in the pocket with good protection. To see him climb the pocket tonight is great.
And when you say climb the pocket, what exactly do you mean there?
So stepping up towards the line of scrimmage before he gets into his throw because the outside rush is coming.
And that's even more valuable for a running quarterback, right? Because he's getting closer to the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens here. 3rd and 11 with 10:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Lakota West up 24-0. Going to see some motion. I think that's Minnick wanting a cross change into formation. Going to try to throw a screen. That was interesting, right? I mean,
tunnel screen there. We got our linemen downfield, but
unfortunately, right, the catch and the defenders were behind the screen, right? So they a couple guys knifed through it, and they had. If they got past that, it was touchdown. I mean, it was about 4 blocking 1, but unfortunately, there were 2 or 3 Princeton Vikings who were inside the blockers.
From an offensive line perspective, teaching the screen is one of the hardest things to do. Just it's hard to practice.
So here we go back to punt here, 4th and 10. See what happens here. We had a first punt was I think about 27 yards. Another pretty effective punt. He's going to go whatever that is, about 23 yards. So, 50 yards and 2 punts, which is not great. But on the other hand, one was inside the 15, and neither of them had any return.
Right, and again, Lakota West defense statistically in the GMC is the number 1 defense. So anytime you got your opponent starting to drive on the 27, you're going to be pretty happy and comfortable with that.
Because that's what you have with Princeton, right? You have a lot of big play possibility. And when the ball's just bouncing and rolling, there's not many big plays that are going to happen.
Yep, exactly.
So what Princeton, 9:48, you're still within 3 scores.
Yeah, again, they're evening out. I bet you got bubbles and inside run here. There it is.
So they faked it to the right. And, that's hard to match up with, right? I mean, he faked it, bubbles on both sides.
Yeah, it's tough because you, as a defensive line, you're reading run, and it's almost like a pass at that point.
So he's going to get about 7 on the play. Are you okay with that here? I mean, are you in a little bit of a prevent? Are you willing to give up 3, 4, 5 yards?
Yeah, you see the cushion right here on the perimeter. There's a nice tackle by Afari.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see.
Now, somebody in the backfield didn't get the tackle. I saw one of the coaches on the sideline not very happy. But the fact that Afari was there, and I think brought it to a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, Henderson and Bobby have been very active tonight in the backfield.
So 3rd and 2. Big play here from their own 35-yard line. Obviously hard to score points if you can't get first downs. See what happens here. Engelman is going to hand the ball off right up the middle. Going to get enough for the first down. Actually going to advance it out for 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 40. But again, when you watch that clock run, I mean, stops briefly for the first down. We're already at 8:45, right? 3 plays. Yeah. They gained whatever that was, maybe 13 yards.
I think I know Andre Parker and Princeton probably understand that it's a tough task to come back and, getting within 1 score of this game. But if they can have a solid drive and put some points on the board, that'll go a long way for their confidence.
Was that Tyler Sparnell? I couldn't quite tell. One of the Lakota West player was trying to work his way off the sideline and then went down still in the field of play because obviously you need to try to make a substitution before they train.
Yeah, I see him there.
Looked like arm, perhaps. When I could see it, looked like maybe. I know I could be
just getting up.
And that, you hate to say, I think it is Parnell, Tyler.
Looks like he's all right. He's going to shake it off.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that he couldn't have advanced off the field, except that they were short a player. Princeton was about to snap the ball, and that's perfectly right. I mean, he was injured.
Yeah, always taught to just fall down.
Yeah, he was injured. He was coming out for the play. It's only fair that they get their 11th player back on, somebody to replace him. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 40. Going to fake the right. Oh, so a couple interesting things happening there. Wow. So nice job right up the middle. They faked the handoff, and Lakota West just blasted right through it. Again, running back here did a nice job. Somebody was able to get Ben Minnick got hold of the jersey, and eventually there 21 Fusel, I think, knocked him out of bounds.
And Isaiah Jones flew through there and lit up the tailback.
Yeah, if you want to fake run it, I guess then he's definitely going to make sure that you feel it. So gained about 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. Handed off right up the middle. Nice play from the defense from Lakota West. See who was able to come in there. I see number 90.
That's Bobby.
In on the play. That was a pretty good play.
Oh,
so that's
Davis.
Elijah Davis and a couple other Firebirds involved there. But it was a nice play by Davis. He actually ended up coming around his blocker, but was quick enough to still be able to close out on the running back.
Yeah, our D-line has been very active tonight. They're kind of 6 foot, 5'10", but they're strong and they got leverage.
So 3rd and 4 from the 46-yard line. Got one back with him in the backfield. Engelman Interesting there. He wanted to run. Did a nice job, though, of finding the receiver who was open just across the line of scrimmage.
Tell you what, the refs are letting their offensive line play. So look at the left tackle here.
We're going to see that. Yeah, oh, that's interesting.
A little bit of a hold.
So some good pressure right up his. I mean, it was nice throw by Engelman, right? I mean, he kept his poise. He backed up a couple steps and threw it right to the open receiver for the first down. Here he is going to go run it right, and wow, really, he's still on his feet.
Yeah, we've got to give it to him. I know Lakota West after this tonight is definitely going to respect him. I mean, for a sophomore and for not being the biggest guy, he's taken some licks tonight and just kept playing.
So good penetration from Lakota West. Then he cuts it right back. Another couple players involved in there. I mean, that's just good play. Asbeck with another nice tackle. I mean, saved it. All that work, it was only a 3-yard gain. So here you go, kind of that speed option. He throws the ball behind him. See what the running back's able to jump on top of it, but that's going to be a big loss. It looks like they're going to mark him back around. Oh, interesting. We had the near side official was going to mark it close to midfield, but now the guy right on the spot is going to mark it back at the 45 where he jumped on it.
Sparnell sets the edge here, kind of hits it on the run and forces the pitch.
Involved there in the tackle. So nice play by Tyler Sparnell. So, good to see that. He'd come out just a couple plays earlier and was back in there. It's interesting. I mean, you still see some, it's not as hot as it's been, but you do still see some cramping out here.
Yeah, might be not taking the hydration as serious as it gets cooler. Fall weather here.
So 3rd and 20 from the 44-yard line. He's going to step straight back to pass. We got a flag right away. Usually means it's a false start. So we're going to move that back even further. We'll try a 3rd and 25. We've had some interesting ones. We had a whatever in goal from the 44. We're now looking at a 3rd and 25.
Yeah,
we had a 1st and 25. I mean, we've seen some. It's hard to do offense.
It's
right.
Very tough.
Not near as many plays in the playbook for those types of numbers.
And I tell you what, I'm just looking out here. Our secondary is so long. I mean, we just brought in a sophomore, Bakari Miles. He's 6'1", 170.
So here we go. You see him back to pass. Going to throw it a little further downfield. Nice throw and catch. Caught it. Wasn't as clean with it, but he's still going to get a nice gain on the play.
You got.
I think we're going to be about 4th and 3 at the spot.
Just running through our secondary, we got Hartford 6'3", Afari 6'3", Brown 6 foot, Fusel. He's long as well. So it's just an impressive looking group, I tell you.
So here we go, 4th and 3, big play here. 5:14 to go. Lakota West still up by, and he's going to advance for the first down. Ooh.
Took a shot.
Yeah, he was being dragged from behind, so had nothing he could do, and then he got hit from the front. So we'll see who's all. And there's a penalty. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I see Ben Minnick involved in the play. Number 13, I'm trying to see. We see 23, Aiden Miller involved in the play. I'm surmising that it must have been something Princeton because I see Sparnell. I see all of the Lakota West guys over there. So I'm guessing Princeton must have done something or said something.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Bolden, you're really hoping that we just get up from the ground and jog back to the sideline because you cannot afford to have someone ejected. That would mean they would miss the next game.
So the long and short of it is they're marking him short of the first down. Yeah, let's check and look at this. He must have gone out of bounds because it looked like he was going to be able to get the first down here. So let's see what happens here.
Clean tackle.
I don't understand. Well, I'm sorry. It was 4th and 13. I was thinking it was 4th and 3. So he got about 4 yards, which would be first down for Lakota West. They're also going to advance the ball about 15 yards. Exactly. So we'll see.
That's starting offense is rolling back out there.
So it looks like the chain is a little confused. They've got it going the other way. It's 1st and 10 for Lakota West from the 37-yard line of Princeton. So what happened there? It was 4th and 13. I said 4th and 3. I apologize. He gained about 4 yards on the play. There was a hard hit late on the quarterback, not an illegal hit, just a hard hit late in the play. Obviously, Princeton either said or did something, which was a dead ball, which meant Lakota West first down, and then advance them 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike conduct. So here we go, Lakota West trying to finish this game off with 4 minutes and 38 seconds to go. And here we go again, another flag.
That's Gonzalez Jr. on the run there.
So it's going to be a hold on Lakota West. Late flag from the backside. Be interesting to see exactly what that was. It's hard to think that would have been a significant in the play. Let's take a look at this, Andrew. So he's going to end up running the ball, on the option. Gets it there. We'll just keep looking. Still looking to see where the.
Not sure what they call.
And here's the flag's thrown about now.
Looked like everything was legal. It's good to see the pitch clean there as well. I mean, that was an issue in the first half, so we're definitely working on improving some of the things that happened in the first half.
And I'm not sure. Maybe we had a wide out on that side that came down on a safety or a corner, was holding on to him. That would have been in front of the official because the play wasn't in front of the official. 1st and 20 for Lakota West. Obviously, they're still going to try to run the ball here. And again, about 3. I mean, with 4 minutes and 10 seconds and ticking, up 24-0. So if you don't score here as Lakota West, what do you come out of this game with? I mean, 24-0 at halftime. You've just been in a really kind of an ugly, penalty-filled second half. 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. I mean, do you need that touchdown to really have a high coming out of this game, or are you able to take the fact that you took a team averaging over 50 points a game and have shut them out to this point as enough of a positive? Nice run there. Still on his feet.
A lot of room. Yeah.
Gained about 13 on the play.
And you got Princeton pointing the other way like there was a fumble. But, yeah, the defense should be very happy. I think offensively you would like to see.
So we'll see what happens here
one.
at the tail end because they did stop the clock for a second, which only reason they should have stopped the clock, and that was Gonzalez again.
Yep.
The only reason they would have stopped the clock is if it were a fumble, but there is Integra.
Yep.
So now that they're winding the clock, obviously it means that they've marked it as Lakota West ball, 3rd down.
Yeah, you'd like to see the offense just finish with a good, clean drive, play what we would call clean, no penalties, okay, and just to execute.
And that looked like, so you see 73, Lathan McComas out there for Lakota West. You obviously want to try to finish this out. 72, Tony Curtis. 76, Connor Snowden. 77, Tegra Shaboa. I think we've seen 52, Caden Fletcher out there a bit.
Yeah, 55, I believe, is Cifuentes.
Yeah, Eric Cifuentes.
I know they do rotate their 2 guards, which is good. That means you've got 7 who can play.
So 3rd and 6. Mitch Bolden, see if they do try to go to the air again, or they're going to keep it on the ground, which they do. Interesting there. They looked like the defender was unblocked. I'm not sure if there was a little missed assignment there. Gonzalez was trying to run the ball to the right side and ran right into a defender who, again, appeared to be unblocked. So now it's going to be 4th and about 5. Gain maybe a yard on the play.
Give props to McComas there. He drove his guy about 10 yards down the field.
So 32-yard line. I'm assuming you're probably going to go for it here with 2:19 to go. Obviously, first down here, you pretty much it's completely done. You can run out the clock on the offensive side unless they use up those timeouts. But see what happens here. He is back to pass, and why not? Going to try to throw it deep again, and good defense there, right? The defender was running. Number 3 was running stride for stride with Minnick.
Absolutely.
So it was just a nice defensive play. I think Dalen White, number 3, wasn't fooled at all there, right? It was
great coverage. You watch the offensive line here. It was a very good pocket, clean pocket for Bolden.
So he just kind of looped it out a bit and then tried to run the sideline. Defender had the inside position, and nothing Minnick could do at that point. That's one of those. The only play you have is in the NFL. They talk about the back shoulder, right? If you throw it a little bit behind the defender because he was inside, but that's asking an awful lot.
There's not a lot of guys in the world that can do that. Yep.
That's
senior year for Bolden right there.
There you go. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Princeton from their own 32-yard line, trailing 24-0 with 2:03 to go here in the 4th quarter. Pretty significant here. So if you're Princeton, I guess, right, you're going to try to make something happen. Looks like they still got the starting group out there. That's motion coming back across the formation, so you end up with 3 on the right. Going to screen back to the left.
And
wow.
That is an impressive play to read the screen and then make that tackle like that. And that's the closing speed that we're talking about.
So we talked about that, right? We just wanted to see him break down and finish the play.
Absolutely.
I think lesson learned.
That is it. He runs right through the offensive lineman and boom.
So, Alex, right, we talked a little bit about how fast he closed but didn't finish. He must have hurt us.
It's awesome to see. He's definitely a hybrid out there just running around, which is a huge weapon.
Where do you see him? I know he's committed to the University of Kentucky. Where do you see him playing? What position there? We'll see what happens here with that running back. I'm surprised that they're letting that go. So if that's a frustration
Yeah.
block. I mean, usually you wouldn't let an offensive lineman block and then do that a second time from behind when the ball was already past him. But
they've been letting them play.
in the old days that was just called football. Now it looks like we've got a Princeton player injured on the play.
Looks like Engelman.
And he's taken some pops, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's done a night. Oh, they're looking calf, so that looks like.
He's been running around a lot, cramping.
So I'm guessing that's a cramp, right? You see him trying to massage the left calf there. So 105 going here. Clock will restart as soon as Engelman gets off the field, and not to make light of it, but it looks pretty obviously as a cramp.
Yeah, he's
so
good.
Good for him. He's it's not been from lack of effort from him tonight, and he's a sophomore, right? I mean, he's shown a lot of missability from that perspective. We talk a little bit about some of the defenders not breaking down and containing, but part of that's because this guy's pretty mobile.
Yeah, he's solid, and I think he's listed as a running back receiver as well on the roster. And Mekhi Lynn, who was Princeton's starting quarterback, is, I believe, out for an extended period of time. So
he put up some incredible stats in that first game coming out off the bench, right? Or off the different position anyway. So here we go, clock running at 47 seconds. 1st and 10 for Princeton. First time today we see number 12 out there at quarterback. And obviously it looks like that's just going to be for one play. Well, let's see. He might
C.O. Powell.
See what happens here. The clock is running at 33 seconds. Looks like he's just getting over there to get the play call, but he may not be quite on top of everything here, but he's back in shotgun.
Another positive is, West starters really played 4 quarters for the first time in 2 weeks, which is good for conditioning and preparing them for games down the stretch in the season.
So interesting here. You're seeing there's 77, an offensive lineman for Princeton. A little extracurricular to play, but the play was a nice pass play, successful, first down inbounds, wind the clock, and that's your ball game. So, Andrew, here we are from Lakota West, where Lakota West Firebirds have just surprised, I think, a lot of people shutting out. Not that they won the game. I think we weren't surprised there, but shutting out Princeton.
Yeah, they controlled what was statistically the best offense. They were on fire the last 3 weeks in Princeton, and it's just a testament to our defense. And also our offense really kind of controlling the game in the first half and really pounding the rock in the second.
So that's the final score here. Lakota West 24 and Princeton nothing. Have a great evening.